When people talk about the greatest drummers of all time, one name always storms to the top: Buddy Rich. Known for his blistering speed, fiery energy, and razor-sharp technique, Rich could play roles in fills faster than most drummers could count them. His performances often looked like a blur of motion, sticks flashing, sweat flying, the crowd roaring. Buddy Rich wasn't just a drummer, he was a spectacle. He made drumming look like a superhuman sport. But here's the question that still sparks debate today. Does speed alone make someone great? To his fans, Buddy Rich was the gold standard, a one-man thunderstorm who brought drumming to the front of the stage. Before him, drummers mostly sat in the back, keeping time. After him, they became showmen, stars in their own right. But among musicians, especially other drummers, the conversation is more complicated. Many acknowledge Rich's unmatched control and intensity, but they question whether his obsession with speed came at the cost of musicality. Drumming isn't just about how fast your hands move. It's about what your playing says. It's about feel, groove, and the way rhythm breathes life into a song. Some critics argue that while Buddy could dazzle the audience, he didn't always connect emotionally. His solos, though brilliant, often felt like technical exhibitions, displays of dominance rather than musical storytelling. So that leads us to the bigger question. What truly defines greatness in drumming? Is it the speed, the power, the showmanship, or the ability to make people feel something deep inside? Because when you compare Rich to more groove-oriented drummers like Steve Gadd or Tony Williams, the difference becomes striking. They may not have had his velocity, but their playing told stories. Their drums spoke. Buddy Rich was the fastest, no doubt. But whether he was the most musical? That's a debate that still rages on. Buddy Rich's legacy is one of contradictions, pure genius and pure fire. He demanded perfection from everyone around him, often exploding on band members for the slightest mistakes. Recordings of his backstage rants have become infamous, painting a picture of a man obsessed with control, precision, and dominance. To him, there was no such thing as good enough, and that same attitude reflected in his drumming: fierce, disciplined, explosive. But in chasing perfection, did Buddy sometimes lose touch with emotion? Many jazz purists think so. His playing was like a lightning bolt, impossible to ignore, but also gone in a flash. It thrilled audiences, but it didn't always linger in the heart the way, say, a Max Roach solo might. Roach, known for his ability to weave rhythm and melody together, treated the drums like a voice. He could make silence as powerful as sound. Buddy, on the other hand, filled every second. No pauses, no breath, just relentless motion. Still, there's no denying that Buddy Rich changed the entire game. Before him, few drummers had the charisma to stand toe-to-toe with bandleaders. But Buddy didn't just stand there, he commanded the stage. His solos weren't background moments, they were main events. Audiences came to see him, not just the band. In that sense, Buddy redefined what it meant to be a drummer. And yet, even his most passionate fans admit that musicality means more than athleticism. While Buddy could outplay anyone, not everyone believes he could outfeel them. Modern drummers like Dave Grohl, Steve Smith, and Annika Nilans have all credited Buddy as an inspiration, but most of them evolved his legacy by adding depth and groove. They took his technical precision and mixed it with soul. So, as generations of drummers continue to study his solos and videos, the question remains: was Buddy Rich the greatest because of his speed, or in spite of it?
The truth is, Buddy Rich represents a rare kind of brilliance, one that doesn't fit neatly into definitions of musical or technical. He was a drummer of extremes, breathtakingly fast, obsessively perfect, and undeniably magnetic. Even his critics admit that his energy could electrify a room. Watching him play was like watching a fighter in the ring, confident, arrogant, but fully in control. You didn't just hear Buddy Rich, you felt him. Yet, as music evolved, the idea of greatness began to shift. In modern drumming, emotion often outweighs speed. Take someone like Steve Jordan. His playing on records by John Mayer or the Rolling Stones proves that a slow, steady groove can be just as powerful as a flurry of notes. Or consider Questlove, whose pocket playing defines an entire era of hip-hop and soul. These drummers speak a different language, one built on space, simplicity, and feel. If Buddy Rich were alive today, would he adapt to this new language? Maybe. His talent was so vast that he probably could have mastered any style he wanted. But part of what made him Buddy Rich was his refusal to change. He believed drumming was about command, not compromise. That unyielding spirit, that sense of domination, is what made him unforgettable. In the end, maybe speed isn't the enemy of musicality. Maybe it's just one form of it. When used right, speed can be emotion, the sound of adrenaline, of life rushing through your veins. Buddy Rich's drumming wasn't always pretty, but it was alive. It demanded attention. It forced people to listen. Conclusion. Buddy Rich may not have been the most musical drummer, at least not in the traditional sense, but he was the one who made drumming larger than life. His speed, his attitude, and his showmanship opened doors for every drummer who came after. Greatness, as it turns out, isn't about speed or groove alone. It's about how deeply you can move people, whether through raw energy or deep feeling. And Buddy, for all his fire and fury, did exactly that. He wasn't just the fastest. He was the spark that made drumming immortal.